Hi guys, it's Mad3m1. If you haven't seen my first video, then it's just very much a baseline of the channel, just recapping what I really want for the channel and what I assume will be happening in the channel and what I kind of expect from you guys, you as the viewers. Okay, so let's answer some of the first questions that I want to answer without being asked them. As someone who's been through depression by themselves, or what felt like themselves, it's hard to tell other people. So the first question we're going to be answering is, how do I tell my friends that I'm depressed or that I'm going through stuff? And there's no correct answer to this because everybody's gonna have a different way of dealing with your problems. You can kind of take it how you want, but you can't force a reaction from certain people. So the first thing I would say is definitely sit them down and tell them, hey, like, whatever's said in here, like, I don't want said to other people. You don't even have to set them down like one at a time. You can set them like down together. Like I've told 3 friends at a time, and it was a lot, but I didn't want to repeat myself 3 times for people who lived in the same area. So just sit down the person or people that you want to discuss this with and tell them, hey, you know, I've been going through some stuff. You may have noticed that I'm not my bubbly self anymore, or that I'm not around as much, or I'm not wanting to do things as much, or I'm not getting as good grades, or I'm not coming to school. Like, just simple things like that is things that people notice. Like, certain people, when they tell news, they will make jokes. It's a way of coping. It's a way of making it not as real. That way you don't have to deal with it. When I told my story, I would like smile a lot because I didn't want to think about it in depth. I didn't want it to seem like it was an actual problem. So if you do that when you're going through stuff, tell them, hey, I might smile, but just know that's my way of coping. So it's not that I'm lying or that it's funny. It's just my way of dealing with it. That way it's not as real as it is. When you sit them down and you tell them this, you can start wherever you want. Really, it's your decision on where you want to start. You can start at the earliest thing, when it started, what triggered it, why you're telling them in the first place. I told the 3 people at the same time because I'm going to be living with them next year, hopefully, and they're gonna need to know like why I've been like this and why I'm going through stuff. So if that's a reason, just tell them, hey, like, you're gonna need to know this. Or even if you just need support, like, you need to say like, hey, the reason I'm telling you this is because I need support right now. Like, I need somebody on my side and ready to sit there and listen and talk when I don't want to talk. Just basically to be there. That way you're not alone. So there's that. When the biggest fear I had is people treating me differently because of my problems. Just thinking that my life would revolve around it. So if you are afraid of that as well, just tell them, hey, I don't want treated differently. Treat me the exact way you did like 3 months ago. But like, if I'm like having a mental breakdown, don't treat me like I'm having the best day of my life, kind of thing. So there's that question answered. How to tell your family. Families definitely much more difficult to tell because they'll want to take action right away, depending on who you're telling. If you're telling your brother or sister, they might not be as close with you, and you might like be safe in telling them and being like, look, like I really don't want to tell mom and dad about this, or does mom or does dad, I don't know your home lives, I haven't met you yet. So if you just have one parent, if you're living with your grandparents or foster parents, like somebody around you that cares, that you consider family, is going to be much more difficult to tell than somebody who you just consider a friend or like a best friend, because they're going to want to act upon it and make sure that you're safe. So just know that when you go to tell them, look, I feel safe, or if you don't feel safe, tell them, hey, I don't feel safe and I think that we need to do something about it. So I haven't really told my family, so it shouldn't be in my place to tell you or give you advice on how to tell family members. I feel like maybe down the road I'll ask some people how they decided to tell their family, and maybe we can have them sort of in a video and just get their opinions, basically. I have two people in mind because one's kind of shared their story with me, but the other one has his own YouTube channel, which I know that he's been through some stuff, but he hasn't really opened up about it yet. So maybe it'll be an eye-opener for you, the viewers, and myself as well, to get some advice that maybe we really, really need. Okay, so I know that question wasn't really answered, but it is going to be. Let's just cover one more question because I feel like this video is going to be a little bit long, and if you're watching it trying not to, signal other people that you're watching something to ask for help, then maybe you don't want it super long because you don't want to be sitting there for 15 minutes trying to decide how to tell them, and then they walk up and see that you're watching something that says how to tell other people you're depressed or something. I haven't written the title yet. Alright, so last question. Is counseling helpful? This is a big one because I feel like there are many different ways people deal with stuff. For me, I've been to one counseling session, and I'm not an emotional person. I should say that, and I should have said it in my last video, but I'm not an emotional person. I do not show emotions in front of people that are like sad emotions. I will show that I'm happy, or like sometimes if I'm angry, but I will not like cry in front of people, or I'm not likely to like get upset in front of people unless it's really, really serious. So meeting somebody the first day and crying in front of them was a lot for me, but it was very much needed. You feel better when you talk to somebody about it. Just when you go through everything that's happened, or everything you've been through, it feels better, and it makes you want to go back and talk more. Maybe you forgot details, or maybe you've had more thoughts about certain things. Like if you're dealing with depression and you're having suicidal thoughts, maybe you want to talk to somebody about that and say, hey, like, is it normal that I'm thinking of this? Like, how do I stop thinking of this? How do I stop wanting to not be alive? And there's two differences there that she said. She said there's wanting to die, and then there's not wanting to be alive. So, like, not wanting to be alive is kind of different than actively, like, wanting to take your life. So definitely, like, if you're in either of those situations, please just, like, talk to somebody. Like, it does cost a lot, but if you're on college campuses, then most of the time they'll have, like, counseling service, which you can go to. In high schools, they have a counselor, which you can sit down with it. And, like, I'm not really quite sure on their confidentiality policies, but you could definitely ask, and if you're not comfortable with them, then advice, tell them everything. Because even if you don't think you need help, if it's gotten to a point where somebody needs to ask for help, then you're wrong. You do need help. Counseling service definitely helped me. I have one friend who went through depression, and she was actually hospitalized for a week. So if you ever get to that point, please go for help, because it is not easy. It is very hard to go through it by yourself, and you need somebody else there. If you try to go through it by yourself, you may not come out of it. And it's a sad truth, but I feel like it's not said enough that depression is very serious, and even though it's becoming more common, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't ask for help. So, I kind of answered that talk, and maybe I can hear your guys' advice. Like, maybe someday we can have, like a video recording session with the people who will watch these, and we can hear your guys' stories and how you dealt with them. And I think that'd be really, really cool to have on a channel. I don't think I've seen other people do that, but I think it'd be cool to get the viewers involved and see how they're doing and what they've been through and what they can offer other viewers. So that's gonna be it for this video, but again, if y'all have anything that you guys like want to see on the channel, even, it doesn't have to be related to problems. It could be, I want you to play this game, or I want you to have a person who's had this problem. Like, I know somebody that has a bit of DID, which is a dissociative identity disorder, and if you guys want to learn about that and the mind of a person who, I wouldn't say suffers from DID, because they deal with it very well and they're very content in the way they're living, and they live a very normal life, but with that in the back of their mind. If you guys are interested in seeing that, like, definitely comment down below, like, #DID, why not? Alright, so thank you guys, you've been wonderful. Thank you for staying till the end of the video, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.